My phone rang on a Tuesday morning. It was Barbara. Now, Barbara is not someone who calls me worried. 72 years old, retired school teacher, sharp as anyone I know, careful with money her entire life, the kind of woman who reads every letter from Centrelink twice before she puts it down. But that morning, her voice was different. She said, "I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." I told her to go ahead. She said, "My neighbour Margaret just got approved for the age pension last week, full part pension, pensioner concession card, the works, and I applied 8 months ago and got told no. We are in almost exactly the same financial situation, same suburb, same type of house, roughly the same savings. How is she getting paid and I am not?" I went quiet for a moment because I already had a feeling I knew the answer. I asked her, "Barbara, when did you last check the eligibility thresholds?" Another silence. "When I applied, 8 months ago." And there it was. 8 months ago, the thresholds were different. The cutoff that excluded Barbara was lower, and Barbara, sitting just above that cutoff, was told no, correctly, at the time. But this July, the thresholds moved, the line shifted, and Barbara, who had written herself off, who had accepted the answer and moved on, is now sitting below the new cutoff. She qualifies, she has qualified since July 1st, and she had absolutely no idea. I told her to sit down, because what I was about to explain was going to frustrate her, and it was going to change her financial situation. And both of those things were going to happen at exactly the same time. Stay with me, because what happened to Barbara is happening to thousands of Australian seniors right now. And by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly whether it is happening to you too. 3 money changes. July 2026, already in effect. Most seniors have no idea. This is Super Centrelink AU. Let us get into it. Money change number 1, Centrelink assets test thresholds updated this July, and thousands of seniors now qualify who did not before. This is the change that caught Barbara completely off guard, and it is the one that I believe will surprise the most people watching this video right now. Every July, as part of the regular annual indexation process, Centrelink updates the assets test thresholds used to determine age pension eligibility. These are the numbers that decide whether you receive the full pension, a part pension, or nothing at all. Most seniors do not know this July update happens. They know about the March and September indexation when the payment amounts themselves change, but the July threshold update flies completely under the radar. Here are the confirmed new numbers, verified directly from Services Australia, that are now in effect. For a single homeowner, the upper assets cutoff, where your pension reduces to zero, is $722,000. Above that, no pension at all. For a single non-homeowner, that upper cutoff is $980,000. For couples who own their home, the combined upper cutoff is $1,102,500. For couples who do not own their home, $1,369,500. Now here is the thing that I need you to really hear. These numbers move every single July, every year, upward, and every year there are seniors who were sitting just above the previous cutoff, who are now sitting below the new one. Seniors who were told no, who went home, who assumed the answer was permanent. It is not permanent. The threshold moves and the answer changes. If you were assessed at any point in the past, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, and told your assets were too high, you need to check again, right now, against the July 2026 numbers, because the cutoff that excluded you may have moved past your current asset position. And here is the part that genuinely hurts when people find out about it. The age pension is not backdated to the date you became eligible. It is backdated only to the date you applied, which means every single week you wait, believing the answer is still no, is a week of payments you will never get back. What you need to do right now: add up your current accessible assets, every bank account, every term deposit, every share portfolio, your superannuation balance if you are over pension age, investment properties, everything except your family home, your car, and your personal belongings. Compare that total to the new July thresholds. And if the numbers suggest you might now qualify, do not wait. Apply this week, not next month, this week. Money change number 2. Your superannuation just became significantly more tax advantaged. This one surprises people because it sounds like it only applies to very wealthy Australians, but the implications reach much further than most people realise. From July 1st, 2026, the transfer balance cap, the maximum amount you can move from your superannuation accumulation account into a retirement pension account where earnings are completely tax-free, increased from $2 million to $2.1 million. Now, I know what you are thinking. $2 million, that is not me. But here is why this matters, even if your balance is nowhere near that figure. The transfer balance cap is the boundary between two completely different tax environments inside superannuation. On the accumulation side, your earnings are taxed at 15%. On the retirement pension side, your earnings are taxed at 0, absolutely nothing. The higher the cap, the more of your superannuation can sit in that zero tax environment. And from this July 6, that cap is $100,000 higher than it was before. For seniors who are approaching retirement or who recently moved into retirement phase, this change means more of their superannuation earnings can potentially sit in the tax-free zone, which means more money staying in their fund, which means a larger balance over time, which means better retirement income. But, and this is the critical part, this does not happen automatically. You need to understand your current transfer balance position. You need to know how much of your cap you have already used and how much remains available. What you need to do right now: log into your superannuation fund account this week. Check your current transfer balance. If you are approaching retirement or recently retired, speak with a financial advisor about whether the increased cap creates an opportunity to move more of your savings into the tax-free retirement phase. One conversation with the right advisor about this change could be worth thousands of dollars in tax savings over the course of your retirement. Money change number 3, Payday Super is now law, and it changes everything about how your retirement savings are protected. This is the change that most seniors who are still working part-time have not heard about, and it is one of the most significant protections introduced for Australian workers in years. From July 1st, 2026, employers are now legally required to pay superannuation contributions at the same time as wages, not quarterly, at the same time as wages, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, depending on your pay cycle. Now you might be thinking, why does this matter to me? I am retired or nearly retired. Here is why it matters. The Australian Tax Office estimated that $6.25 billion in superannuation went unpaid to Australian workers in the most recent financial year. $6.25 billion. Money that was legally owed to workers, contributions that employers were required to make, that simply never arrived in their super funds. And because contributions were only due quarterly under the old rules, it could take months before a worker even realised their super was not being paid. By then, the employer might be in financial difficulty, the money might be gone. For seniors who are still working part-time, and there are hundreds of thousands of Australian seniors who continue working after pension age, this change is critical protection for money that belongs to you. From this July, if your employer does not pay your super within 7 working days of your payday, that is a legal violation. You will know about it almost immediately because the contribution will not appear in your fund on time. You do not have to wait a quarter to discover the problem. What you need to do right now. If you are still working in any capacity, log into your superannuation fund after your next payday. Check whether your employer's contribution has arrived. If it has not arrived within 7 working days, contact your employer directly and ask about it. If the issue is not resolved, report it to the Australian Tax Office. And even if you are fully retired, share this information with anyone you know who is still working, because this change protects money that is legally theirs, and most working Australians have no idea it exists. Now let me bring all 3 changes together in one clear summary before we finish. Money Change 1, Centrelink Assets Test Thresholds, updated this July. If you were told no in the past, check the new numbers against your current asset position. If you think you may now qualify, apply this week. Every week you wait is money you will never get back. Money Change 2. Superannuation transfer balance cap increased from $2 million to $2.1 million. Log into your fund. Check your transfer balance position. Speak with a financial advisor about whether this creates an opportunity for your retirement income. Money Change 3, Payday Super, is now law. If you are still working, check your fund after every payday to confirm your employer's contribution has arrived within 7 working days. If it has not, you now have clear grounds to act immediately. Barbara called me back that same evening. She had spent the afternoon going through her numbers. Her savings had reduced over 8 months of drawing down to cover living costs. Her share portfolio had also dropped in value slightly. Her total accessible assets were now sitting below the new July upper cutoff. She qualifies. She is lodging her application this week. She was quiet for a moment on the phone. And then she said something I have not been able to stop thinking about since. She said, 8 months of payments I am never going to see, not because I was not eligible, but because I stopped checking. Do not stop checking. The thresholds move every July, the rules change, and the answer you received in the past is not necessarily the answer you would receive today. Check today, act today, because the money that is rightfully yours is not going to chase you down. You have to go and get it. If this video helped you, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more Australian seniors who need this information. Subscribe to Super Centrelink AU so you never miss an update. Every threshold change, every super rule update, every Centrelink announcement that affects your retirement income. We cover it as soon as it happens. Drop a comment below and tell me, did you know the assets test thresholds change every single July? I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know how many people this surprised. And please, share this video with someone you know who is retired or approaching retirement, because these 3 changes are already in effect, and the seniors who find out about them this week are the ones who will benefit from them this month. I will see you in the next one.